Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome. I've got just here. Hold on, where is it? Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? An imposter is a fake, somebody who claims to be somebody they are not. The syndrome is just a big problem. So it means, do you ever feel that you are not really confident of doing what you want to do? For example, uh, if you stand up in front of a big audience and you have to give a speech or presentation and you think, oh, these people know more than me. I don't know anything. Why am I here? If you ever have those feelings, that's called imposter syndrome. Typically, these kinds of feelings of nerves. Meeting someone important, you think, oh, I'm nobody. Making a speech, I just said, giving a presentation, same kind of thing. Or doing anything that makes you very nervous. You can start to question, oh, do I belong here? Why am I here? Maybe I felt that when I first started teaching English. I thought, well, I don't have a degree in English teaching. I'm not an expert teacher. Why are people paying me money? Oh, I'm not good enough. Well, that was 15, 16 years ago. Not a problem now. But there are always times in our life when we feel nerves. So, what's the solution? I'll tell you the solution if you ever feel I'm not worth it. The solution is to make up a character and have your character do the things that you can't do. For example, do you know Beyonce? She's very famous. At the time of writing, she's a very famous American pop singer. She has been famous for a long time, and she has a persona, a character on stage as a very strong, sexy woman, right? Who's not scared of anything. But it's kind of a bit fake. It's a character because she feels nervous. So I got here. So Beyonce created Sasha Fierce. Sasha Fierce is the name of her character to be her stage persona. Sasha is a fearless, audacious, that means brave, incredibly brave. Oh, okay, performer. Sasha can do the pop star stuff on stage that Beyonce Knowles, that's her real name, would be totally embarrassed to do. That's the power of character invention. So if you invent a character, make a character and say, well, it's not, for me, I'm Mr. Sheriff. Well, it's not me that's doing the English lesson. It's the character of Mr. Sheriff, the great English teacher who knows so much. And then if you play like a character, then you don't feel so nervous because you think, well, it's the character talking, not me. I'm little Patrick Sheriff, just the little English guy who doesn't know anything, but my character, maybe Professor Sheriff, let's call him that, can do all the things, talking in front of a big group, leading a speech day, having 20 little kids running around. That if I didn't have the character, I wouldn't be able to do it. So, okay, so we need to create a character when you're feeling nervous. How do you do that? Okay, here are 5 steps to character invention. Number 1, envision the character. I like see the character. What does this character do when it feels fear? Borrow from fiction, history, heroes, etc. This will help you bring details to life. So you actually imagine, you're like writing a story. You imagine a character. What would a brave English teacher look like? Maybe like Harry Potter. So that's what they would look like, and they would be brave and not scared of anything. They would have funny jokes they could always tell. Okay, number 2, find the name. All great characters have a name. What do you call your Sasha Fierce? So for Beyonce, she called her character Sasha Fierce. Give him or her a cool name that represents the values your character effortlessly brings to life. So what would I be? I'd be Professor Laugh a Lot. Would be my character. Maybe, I don't know. Number 3, source the trigger. Trigger, like on a gun, that's your trigger. When you pull the trigger, the gun fires. So find some way to turn on your character, like turn on, turn off. Turn on your character. It says here for Beyonce, she puts on the character when she puts on her stiletto heels, her high heels, that she's going to perform and dancing. As soon as she puts those on, then she becomes like the superhero. Sasha Fierce. So for Mr. Sheriff, what would it be? Perhaps when I zip up that action, then I'm ready to be the character. Or rubbing my hands together and a clap, or maybe 3 claps, 1, 2, 3, and I bring my character alive. So you need a little trigger to say, right, I'm now in character. I'm not Patrick Sheriff, I'm Professor Laugh-A-Lot. Quite mad, isn't it? But okay, number 4, develop the physicality. Explore how the character feels in your body. Sasha Fierce has a specific posture. So if I'm going to be a professor, perhaps I have certain ways of talking. I use my hand like this, like a professor. I stroke my chin. That's what professors do, right? So you exaggerate your actions so that you know, it's kind of a reminder to yourself, I'm now in character. I'm not Patrick Sheriff, I'm Professor Laugh-A-Lot. And finally, number 5, practice. You can order coffee at Starbucks as your character. No one needs to know. Okay, so before you get into a very nervous situation, practice turning on your character. 1, 2, 3. Yo, give me some coffee, please. Yeah. So it sounds a bit crazy, but if you then are able to turn on this character when you need it, you can get over your fears and nervousness in the most scary circumstances. Apparently Beyonce doesn't do this anymore because she's got so used to it now. She can do it. But in her early days, that's how she got over stage fright. Stage fright is standing in front of a stadium full of people who want her to dance and sing. Of course, that's scary. So you have to have that character. Okay, I got some questions. Well, I can't type questions. Okay. Number 1, when do you feel nervous? What situations? When do you feel nervous and have an imposter syndrome? When? 2, what would be your character's special skills? What would be their name? So for me, special skills, able to make jokes, able to understand very difficult things. What else? What does a professor need? Needs to know every book that was ever written. That's impossible, but that's what they would have. What would be their name? So I've got Professor Laugh-A-Lot. Beyonce has, what was it? Sasha Fierce. So there's a kind of an adjective that describes that person. What would your name be for your superhero character that's never scared? And finally, are there other ways to deal with nerves? This is quite an extreme way to deal with when you're nervous. Do you have any tips? Okay, I'll be interested to hear who your character is and if you ever feel nervous. Of course you feel nervous. Everybody feels nervous, right? Okay, I will see you soon. Let me just stop this machine. Okay, see you soon.